Exploring the bizarre world of cybercults inside the digital age's most dangerous echo chambers. In the age of hyperconnectivity, the internet has become more than just a platform for communication and commerce. It's also a breeding ground for alternative belief systems, conspiracies, and radical ideologies. Cybercults, unlike their physical predecessors, have managed to take root and grow at an alarming pace, creating insular communities where unchecked influence, manipulation, and exploitation thrive. These cults operate on the anonymity and reach of the web, tapping into people's vulnerabilities, offering them belonging, meaning, or purpose. But behind this facade, there's a darker reality, one where control, exploitation, and even abuse are rampant. In this expose, we'll explore the dynamics of cybercults, examine their rise, and look into some of the most notorious leaders and communities driving these modern-day movements. The anatomy of a cybercult. Cybercults have many of the same characteristics as traditional cults, but thrive in the virtual world. They offer their members a sense of belonging, purpose, or even enlightenment in a world that often feels disconnected or hostile. Unlike traditional cults where physical proximity is required, cybercults can recruit from anywhere, reaching vulnerable individuals globally. These groups use forums, social media platforms, messaging apps like Telegram or Discord, and even encrypted dark web channels to indoctrinate followers. Key to their success is the promise of access to hidden knowledge, often paired with charismatic leadership that presents themselves as the only conduit to the truth. Whether the appeal is based on spiritual enlightenment, political conspiracy, or pseudoscientific discovery, the underlying tactics remain the same: isolation, manipulation, and emotional control. Cybercult recruitment, vulnerability, and exploitation. The members of cybercults are often individuals experiencing personal crises, loneliness, financial instability, or disillusionment with mainstream society. The isolating nature of the internet, where many people lack genuine human connection, leaves individuals particularly vulnerable to these groups. Through targeted messaging, cybercults prey on these feelings, offering a sense of community or a shared mission. For instance, the QAnon movement, which began as a fringe conspiracy theory on 4chan, rapidly evolved into a global phenomenon. The central tenet of QAnon revolves around the belief that a shadowy cabal of elites is running a global child sex trafficking ring, and that Q, an anonymous figure, is leaking classified information to expose this conspiracy. For disillusioned individuals, QAnon offered a clear narrative of good versus evil, where followers were cast as heroes working to uncover the truth. What began as online message boards quickly became real-world activism, with followers attending rallies, spreading misinformation, and even committing acts of violence. Notable cybercult leaders and movements. 1. Sherry Shriner and the Orgone Warriors. Sherry Shriner, a self-proclaimed messenger of God, led a bizarre online cult centered around the belief in reptilian aliens, demonic forces, and a government conspiracy to control humanity. Her followers were called Orgone Warriors, and they believed that the only way to protect themselves from these malevolent forces was to create and distribute orgone energy devices. Shriner operated primarily through YouTube, Facebook, and various online forums where she disseminated her apocalyptic beliefs. One of the most tragic examples of Shriner's influence came to light in 2017 when one of her followers, Stephen Mineo, was shot and killed by his girlfriend, Barbara Rogers. Mineo and Rogers had been devout believers in Shriner's teachings, but when Shriner accused Rogers of being a reptilian alien in disguise, tensions escalated, culminating in the fatal shooting. Shriner's ability to manipulate her followers through fear and paranoia exemplifies the power that cybercult leaders can wield, often with devastating consequences. 2. Teal Swan, the spiritual catalyst. Teal Swan is a controversial figure who operates an influential online presence with millions of followers. Claiming to be a spiritual healer, Swan offers her teachings primarily through YouTube, where she discusses topics like trauma, depression, and personal transformation. However, her methods have come under intense scrutiny for promoting dangerous ideologies around suicide, trauma recovery, and mental health. Swan's critics, including mental health professionals, accuse her of using cult-like techniques to foster dependency among her followers. She promotes a completion process, which involves intense visualizations of traumatic events, sometimes pushing individuals toward reliving harmful memories. Several former followers have come forward, alleging that Swan's teachings encouraged them to contemplate or even attempt suicide. Swan's charismatic persona, coupled with her promises of healing, has created a digital empire where her control over her followers' emotional and psychological lives is disturbingly strong. 3. The Incels and Red Pill communities. The involuntary celibate incel movement and its close relative, the Red Pill community, operate largely through anonymous forums such as Reddit, 4chan, and incel-specific sites like incels.co. These online communities promote misogynistic, anti-woman ideologies, where followers believe they are victims of a societal structure that denies them romantic or sexual fulfillment. Elliot Rodger, an adherent of the incel ideology, famously carried out a mass shooting in Isla Vista, California in 2014, targeting women whom he believed had rejected him. Similarly, Alec Manassian, the perpetrator of the 2018 Toronto van attack, expressed admiration for Rodger and the incel movement. While these forums are not led by a single leader, they operate with a shared ideology that is fostered, amplified, and radicalized within the echo chambers of the internet. Cause and effect. The impact of cybercults. The rise of cybercults has significant societal and individual consequences, both online and offline. At a macro level, these groups can contribute to the spread of misinformation, societal polarization, and even political extremism. Movements like QAnon have shown how online cults can disrupt political processes, incite violence, and cause real-world harm. On a personal level, individuals drawn into cybercults often suffer severe emotional and psychological damage. The internet's anonymous nature allows leaders to operate without accountability, fostering environments where exploitation is rampant. Cult members are often isolated from their families, pressured to sever ties with non-believers, and pushed into dangerous belief systems that can lead to depression, paranoia, and even suicide. Moreover, the decentralized nature of the internet makes it difficult to regulate or dismantle these groups. Many operate on encrypted platforms, hiding behind privacy shields that protect them from scrutiny. As technology evolves, so too do the tactics of these cybercults, leaving law enforcement and mental health professionals struggling to keep up. Conclusion: the future of cybercults. The bizarre and dangerous world of cybercults is only set to expand as technology continues to evolve. Virtual reality, AI, and more sophisticated forms of digital communication will likely make these communities even more immersive and insular. As society becomes increasingly digitized, the ability of cybercults to reach vulnerable individuals will grow, making the need for public awareness and digital literacy even more pressing. To combat the influence of cybercults, it will take coordinated efforts from governments, tech companies, and mental health professionals. Monitoring online spaces, educating the public on the dangers of digital radicalization, and offering support to those at risk will be essential in addressing this growing threat. As we explore the frontiers of the digital age, we must also confront the darker realities of online communities and the influence they wield over vulnerable minds.